I need to tell you something quietly, something that happened recently, that I haven't shared with anyone else yet. It started with a small moment, the kind most people would ignore. But it didn't feel small to me, because it was about you. I was sitting there with my phone in my hand reading one of your messages again, the way I always do when I miss you a little more than usual, and I didn't notice someone watching me. When I finally looked up, I saw the expression on her face, and my heart skipped, because I realized she had been noticing things for a while. She didn't say your name at first, but she said my name in that careful tone. That means she already understands more than she's saying. And in that second, I felt exposed in the most beautiful way, because you weren't just in my thoughts anymore. You were real enough that someone else could see it too. You know how I always try to act calm, like I have everything under control, like my feelings don't run too deep. That act disappeared right there. She asked me why I smile at my phone sometimes, why my voice changes when I talk about certain things, why I've been quieter but somehow happier. I tried to brush it off at first, but she kept looking at me like she could see straight through me. And then she said something that made my chest tighten. She said, "There's someone special, isn't there?" I didn't answer right away, but inside I felt this warmth spread through me because I realized that what I feel for you isn't something I can hide anymore. It shows in the smallest things. It shows in the way I pause before I speak, in the way I reread your words, in the way I carry you with me even when I'm doing ordinary things. I don't know if you understand how powerful that moment felt for me. It wasn't dramatic or loud. It was soft and quiet, but it felt like the world shifted a little, because suddenly you weren't just this beautiful connection between us. You were someone real enough that my life was beginning to shape itself around you. She asked me what you're like, and I didn't even know where to start. How do I explain someone who makes silence feel comfortable and distance feel smaller? How do I explain the way you make my day lighter without even trying? I told her you're kind, and I meant it in the deepest sense. I told her you listen in a way that makes me feel understood. And while I was talking, I realized something I hadn't admitted out loud before. I was smiling the entire time. She watched me carefully, almost like she was putting pieces together in her mind. And then she said something that surprised me. She said she had never seen me talk about someone with that kind of softness in my voice. She said it sounded like I wasn't just describing someone. It sounded like I was protecting something precious. When she said that, I felt this strange mix of nervousness and pride. Nervous because you matter so much to me that the thought of losing you scares me. Proud because for the first time I didn't feel like hiding how important you are. I wish you could have seen that moment from my side. It felt like standing at the edge of something new, something honest. I wasn't being questioned or judged. It felt more like she was trying to understand why I've been different lately. And the truth is, you're the reason my thoughts wander in soft directions. You're the reason I catch myself replaying conversations in my head. You're the reason I feel this quiet hope that something beautiful could grow from this connection we share. She asked me if you make me happy. That question stayed with me for a second, because happiness is a simple word, but it carries so much weight. I told her yes, but it felt too small for what I meant, because it's more than happiness. It's comfort, it's excitement, it's that feeling of knowing someone sees you in a way others don't. And while I was answering, I realized I wasn't just talking about you. I was thinking about you in that moment, like you were right there listening to me. You know what surprised me the most? She didn't react the way I expected. She didn't tease me or question me. She just nodded slowly, like she understood something important. And then she said, she hopes whoever you are, you treat me gently with my heart. When she said that, I felt something tighten in my chest again, because I wanted to tell her that you already do. You don't even realize how gentle you are with me. The way you speak, the way you show care in small ways, the way you make me feel like I matter. It all adds up in ways I don't always say out loud. I think that moment made everything feel more real for me. It made me realize that this isn't just something happening inside my head or inside messages. It's something growing in my life, shaping how I see things, shaping how I feel about the future. And I want you to understand how rare that is for me. I don't open my heart easily. I don't let people see the parts of me that are soft and unsure. But with you, it's different. With you, I feel like I don't have to pretend. Since that day, I've caught myself thinking about what it would be like if you were standing there with me. I imagine introducing you, not with grand words, but with that quiet confidence that comes when something feels right. I imagine the way you'd smile, the way your presence would make everything feel calmer, and when I think about that, I feel this steady warmth inside me, like the future isn't something distant anymore. It's something I can almost reach. I don't want you to feel pressure when I say these things. I'm not rushing anything. I just want you to know how deeply you've touched my life already, even in ways you don't see. Even in moments you don't know about. You've changed how I think about connection, about closeness, about what it means to truly feel someone in your world. And I wonder sometimes if you realize how powerful that is. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, I can still remember the look on her face when she realized how much you mattered to me. It wasn't shock in a bad way. It was more like she suddenly understood why I've been carrying this quiet glow lately. And maybe that's what I want you to understand too. You've brought something into my life that feels calm but strong, soft but undeniable. And I don't know where this path leads yet. I don't know how the story unfolds. But I do know that something about you feels like it was meant to cross my path at exactly the right time. And sometimes I catch myself wondering what you're feeling right now while hearing this, whether your heart is beating a little differently, whether you're thinking about the same moments I am, whether you can feel that quiet pool between us that keeps growing every time we speak, every time we share a thought, every time your presence slips gently into my day and stays there longer than I expect. And I keep wanting to tell you more about what's been on my mind since then, about the things I didn't say, about the way I keep replaying that conversation and imagining what could happen next if I stop holding back and just let you see everything I feel without trying to filter it or hide it or make it sound smaller than it really is. Because the truth is, there's so much more I haven't told you yet, and every time I start to say it, I pause. Not because I don't want to share it, but because once I do, everything between us might feel even more real than it already does. And I'm not sure if you're ready to hear how deeply you've already become part of my world. And how often I catch myself thinking about the moment when I finally say the words I've been holding inside. I keep thinking about what I almost said that day but didn't. It stayed in my chest like a secret that kept asking to be heard. You know that feeling when words sit right on the edge of your lips, but your heart slows them down because once they leave, everything changes. That's where I've been lately with you. Not confused, not unsure, just aware that what I feel is growing into something that deserves honesty. And honesty always feels a little scary before it feels right. After that conversation, I found myself noticing you even more than before. Not just when you write to me, but in the spaces between messages too. I'd be doing something